Hey, this is John Bollinger with Premier Guitar. Today we're doing a review demo of the Fender 57 Pro Amp Combo. This is a loving homage to those classic Tweeds made long ago, and they really did it right. I'll tell you all about it after I tell you about how I'm recording it. This is my 67 Tele, so a 50-year-old guitar. This is a Seymour Duncan pickup. This is the original pickup, and it's got an old Parsons White bender in it. And I'm running it into, I've got a way huge saucy box that I'm not running right now, but I will eventually run it, so you can see how this thing takes pedals. But I'm running into the saucy box, out of that directly into the Pro Amp. And although it has two channels, it has the mic channel and it has the instrument channel. They say that it's a bright channel and a normal channel. To me, they sound nearly identical. But I've got them bridged, as you can see up here, so we're going to kind of blend them. It's just a way of kind of, you know, it's kind of that Marshall-y thing that people do, taking it from the basement thing. Anyway, I'm blending them. Then we're miking it with a Shure SM7, and that's going into an FG Quartet and into Pro Tools. So basically, coming in, really it's just my guitar plugged straight into the amp, blowing and going. So why don't I tell you about this very cool amp? Fender Tweeds, you know, the original ones, are so wildly expensive today. You know, very difficult to find. And the truth is, you know, a 60-year-old amp is going to be pretty dodgy unless it's like never been played, and then it's out of, you know, then nobody can afford it. In fact, nobody can afford these things anyway unless you're like Keith Richards. They are very expensive. But this reissue, they really did right. We'll start with, I love the fact that it is an old school pine cabinet. You know, that tongue and groove, whatever, carpentry, cabinet making. That alone, I think affects the sound. I think it gets kind of a, I don't know, man, it seems like you get a little more snap from that. Secondly, they've got this Eminence 15-inch speaker that was specially designed for it. It's called the Eminence 7, or Legend rather. But I love 15s. 15s to me are so warm. I really dig them. So it's a cool tone. It's 27 watts, 26 watts, which gives you a good breakup when you get into it. But it's a very loud 26 watts. In fact, the other night I just had a club date, and so I brought it to my club show and played it there, and it was like loud. It wasn't a particularly loud band, but I could have drowned out the drummer had I needed to. Really loud, and there's something about that 15 and that open back, man, you can really hear it on stage. So giving it the Pepsi challenge on stage, it really held up. Also, the old school Tweed is great, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they shoot a lacquer over it like they used to. It looks like it. It's got that old look like when they used to shoot the lacquer on them. Love the old school leather handle like that. It's just, I don't know, back then people cared about details, so they really cared about the details on this. tube design, tube-wise, you've got one 12A Y7, two 12A X7s, and two 6L6s. And that's about the end of it. Chicken head knobs like you'd expect. Controls are real easy, presence, bass, treble, and then volumes. On top of that, it's all hand-wired construction, kind of just like they made them back in '57. So we got a 57 amp, we got a 67 guitar. Well, we've got a reissue of a 57 amp and a 67 guitar. Let's see what they sound like. Now when I came in, I had both channels linked, like I said, and I'm running it just at like 3 and change. And I've got the treble and the bass up a little bit and the presence down. And again, these go to 12. These controls go to 12, not 10. But it is a really lively, snappy sound, you know, warm. Great, right? And then for that twangy stuff, what I love about it is you get such definition out of this amp, like every note. Just really rings. You can, anyway, very chimey and big. Let me give you a taste test now going to a humbucker so you can see what it does in that. Okay, so now we're in humbucker land. This is my 72 335, and you can hear it sounds equally sweet. Really chimey. Very kind of a sweet tone. One thing I love about this amp is that the controls are very responsive. You know, on some amps you have to turn like the treble or the bass all the way up or all the way down to hear much of a difference. But this gives you like every subtle shade of tone. So here's just the treble. Turn it down a bit. And the high end, when you really put it up there, I ended on the treble at about 9, I guess. And it's, you know, I don't like a lot of high end in my signal, but man, to me, that high end is really kind of chimey. It's not like a ice pick, it's more kind of a chimey high end. Just sounds great. Now let me put it down to kind of a more manageable whatever. Now let me show you how this thing takes pedals. I've just got this Saucy Box overdrive in line. Here it is straight. know, that's just a cheap pedal, but to me, that's a killer overdrive in it. I mean, this amp, I don't know, when you've got a great tube amp, anything you plug into it's going to sound pretty great. So love that kind of variety. Now, now the painful part. Let me show you the kind of overdrive you can get just by cranking it up. And honestly, this is 26 watts, but it is a loud 26 watts. So let me let Perry put in some earplugs, and I'll just dime this pig and see what it does. I'm going to, I'm channeled both sides together, but I'm just going to dime one. That's at 7. 9. That's 10. Wow, man. Mercy. I mean, that sounds killer, man. And I love the fact that, you know, if you were that guy, well, like, you know, the way Joe Bonamassa is really kind of a master of cranking an amp up and getting all the nuance out of his volume, this amp is perfect for that kind of thing. But you have to have the luxury of being able to play very loudly because it does not do that kind of angry God thing at a reasonable volume. That's why a lot of you with this amp would probably want to employ pedals occasionally, unless of course you do have the luxury of just diming that pig and seeing where it gets you. So those are the basic details of the Fender 57 Pro amp. This is a fabulous little tube combo. Read the full written review at premierguitar.com. And while you're online, make sure you like us on Facebook. We have tons of great, crazy crap going up there every couple minutes. Check us out on Instagram, fun little pictures, Twitter, all that jazz, and our hard copy of our magazine. Why not have it brought directly to your house? This is John Bollinger. Till next time.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on premierguitar.com.